Hey, Gator fans, welcome back to a peek inside Gators football. I wanted to pop on here really quickly to talk to you about the Monday afternoon press conference that Billy Napier had today, and a quote that really stood out to me, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I feel like we need to talk about it. Let's roll the clip.
Some head coaches around the country have given that duty up just because of everything going on with the change of the sport. What ultimately gives you the conviction that this is the right decision for you and your team?
Well, it's year 8 for me, and I think it's the way we've done it. And I think it helped us get here, and it helped us. But I mean, look, I think that there's a lot of guys that are still doing it too, right? I mean, you could argue both ways here, right? So I watched several that were doing it this weekend. So I think each year you're evaluating what is best for the team, for the staff.
Okay, guys, we got to talk about this. I All right, I'm going to preface this by saying I do not think press conferences are Coach Napier's strong suit. Never have. If you've been following along this channel for a couple of years, the PR department is something that I've always said they could do better. And that's fine. That is not every head coach is going to come up with great one-liners on the podium. And I understand that. I also know it's a tough question. He's currently in a situation where his back's against the wall. His team's not winning. He knows that people are calling for his job. And so I'm not saying in any way that I think this was a question where there was just an immediate, easy answer that he missed on. I do believe you are paid almost $9 million a year to answer the hard questions, and the hard questions should be asked in the press conference. And, what you just listened to was essentially somebody saying, why have you not considered giving up play calling? And I know we're going to nitpick everything. And like I said, I know that it's a tough question, but here's what you don't say, right? He essentially said, I've been doing this for 8 years and that's what's gotten us here. I have a huge issue with that. I have his stats right in front of me since he became a play caller, and none of these are incredibly impressive. 2017 Arizona State, he was the offensive play caller. They had the 37th ranked total offense in the country that year. In 2018, at Louisiana, they had the number 44th total offense in the country. Now, 2019 was a bright spot for him at Louisiana. They were the number 8th total offense in the country. But 2020, back to 43. And then 2021, the season before he came to UF, he had the 64th best total offense in the country. So we're talking very middle of the pack right there. Now, in 2022, when he came to UF, he once again had the 37th ranked offense in the country, which would end up being his best offense at Florida to date. 2023, the number 46th offense. Last season, the 2024 season, they were the 66th best offense in college football. And currently, where they sit this far into the 2025 season, we are talking about the 108th best offense in the country. So I don't think it's an absurd question to say, Coach, you don't generally break the top 50 with your offenses. Have you considered trying something else? And, when I look at the total offenses for this season, it's hard to not see a problem with not giving up the play calling. Florida State, who obviously their head coach is Mike Norvell, and I think Norvell is highly regarded as a very good play caller. He decided to give up play calling this year. Gus Malzahn was hired. He has been the offensive coordinator, the offensive play caller. And Florida State currently has the number 1 total offense in college football right now. I'll get right back to the video, but first I want to give some love to Alumni Hall. If you're going to Gainesville for the Texas game on Saturday, make sure you stop by Alumni Hall for all the very best game day apparel. Their selection is so elite that you guys need to make sure that you are stopping there. It's the Archer location right on Archer Road, or you can even shop online, alumnihall.com. Very best Gator gear around. It is what my entire family wears. You're not going to find better anywhere else. We appreciate Alumni Hall for their support, and make sure you tell them that Allie Peak sent you. Mizzou, another program that in recent years Drink gave up offensive play calling, not this season, but last season. And he said it was because of the betterment of the team. He loved calling plays, but he felt like it was the best choice for his football team. Well, they're sitting with the number 5 overall total offense. So, while I think there are some coaches, Lane Kiffin is one that comes to mind, where you can say, here's a guy who's doing a really good job as a head coach and as an offensive play caller. It is not fair to say, oh, some guys do it this way, some guys do it that way. Most of these offenses that are ranked in the top 10 plays are not called by their head coach. And we're talking about guys giving up play calling who are regarded as better play callers than Coach Napier has been regarded as a play caller. So I don't know. I don't think we care about what his past success is as an offensive play caller. It's not working now. And I don't know that it's fair to look back at his last almost 9 years. He's 8.5 years into being a play caller. There's a whole lot of successes to find. There is one top 10 offense, that outlier, which was 2019 at Louisiana. But other than that, I don't know that any of his offenses have been anything that are so electric or are worthy of writing home about. And the word choice was just poor for me. He is right. His offense is why we are where we are right now. And listen, I'm not trying to pile on here, but give me a break. You have got to do a better job with your word choice there. And you've got to be willing to try something different. Where is the harm? And, we talked a lot this offseason about Billy's decision to continue with play calling this year. And, I heard the rumors, as did most of the Florida media, that he was told he's coming back with the stipulation that he needed to hire an offensive coordinator. And clearly that didn't happen. And that became clear really in the spring that was not going to be a change that he made. And I did at least sort of understand it. I think he felt like he had this year to get it right, or he was probably going to lose the Florida job. And so I can understand the desire to, bet on yourself. But right now, we are 4 games into this season. This offense is ranked 108th, and you are circling the drain. So, what is the harm in trying something else at this point? What you are doing is not working for whatever reason. And, I do fully believe in my heart that he believes there are a few better executed plays away from a very different record. But the reality is, in year 4, the execution is on you. So either your players aren't capable of executing your playbook, either because you're not doing a good enough job coaching them up in practice, or because the playbook doesn't make sense. Whatever the reason is, you wear it as a year 4 head coach. So why not be willing to try something else? Because not trying something else is absolutely going to result in you losing your job. Don't you want to save it? Are you so hell-bent on being an offensive coordinator that you're okay giving up the head coach portion of the job? We thought that's what you wanted. That's what you're getting paid $9 million for. It's incredibly frustrating to hear as a fan, because exactly what he said, we are where we are right now because of his play calling. I know that's not how he meant the quote. He meant the quote as, I'm a head coach because people liked my play calling, and that's what's helped me elevate myself. I understand what the intention is. But the offense has never been overly impressive from the moment he became a play caller. It's been serviceable. Do you want to be a head coach, or do you want to be an offensive coordinator? That is the question that Napier has needed to ask himself for the last couple of years. He talked a little bit about DJ Lagway in this press conference as well. One of the things he said was, we did quite a bit of 11 on 11 and full speed work with DJ, trying to get him caught up. And I think that's what he needs. And I do agree. I think that's what he needs. And I do think that a lot of the struggles we're seeing is that he did miss the entire summer with these injuries. But as a head coach, you kind of have to pivot. You have to be able to deal with injuries as they happen better than it looks like Florida has dealt with them. He also said that Lagway has never blamed others. He said, I think that's just who he is. He's been pretty transparent about how he feels and what he needs to do. And I think that's also absolutely true. I think DJ Lagway has owned this probably better than anybody else. He has let the buck stop with himself all along. But I got news. The buck doesn't actually stop with the 20-year-old. It stops with the head coach. He did say that Lagway was really sharp last week. And maybe the most interesting part of the press conference, and I would love for this to be a follow-up question on the SEC presser later in the week, is that he said that he asked all offensive staff members to send him suggestions during the bye week on what they could do to be better as an offense. I want to know, so was this like a suggestion box and you could anonymously say your offense sucks, you should hand over play calling and stick it in the box? Or like, were you supposed to raise your hand and say that to your head coach? Because obviously you get very different answers depending on the delivery method used for the message. But and I joke, but I would honestly be super interested to know what things were suggested. There's a room full of offensive coaches. These are guys, some of them with a ton of experience. I think about Billy Gonzalez, and I think about him being on staff watching Urban, him being on staff with Mullen, the different, he was at LSU for a period of time. He has been a part of some incredibly explosive offenses. What does he suggest we do? And what are real changes that can happen quickly during the bye week to produce a different result? And to this staff's credit, they did produce a different result the second half of the season last year. Florida looked like a different team. Do I think that it's likely that happens again 2 seasons in a row? Probably not, but it's possible because we watched it last year. So I would love to know what those suggestions were. He also said Dallas Wilson practiced 3 days last week, and we do expect that he's going to play this week. And I think that that's a huge shot in the arm to the Gators. I am really hopeful that this defense shows up yet again. We've asked so much of them game after game, but if they can give us another solid effort at home in the Swamp, the addition of Wilson, if Lagway has really made the growth in these last few practices that Napier says he has, maybe Florida can put on a serviceable opponent. I do think that Texas looks less stout than we thought they were going to when we discussed this game over the summer. And I do think that Vegas agrees. It's a 7-point spread right now in Texas's favor. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that Florida beats Texas. And obviously, as a Gator fan, I hope that that is what happens. If that does happen, I don't think that means that the problems are necessarily fixed, but it would be one hell of a step in the right direction for sure. Okay, guys, did you listen to Coach Napier's press conference today? And if you did, what was the most interesting part to you? Let me know down in the comments. Remember, guys, have the Sleeper app ready for Wednesday night when we play the more or less game. So you guys are ready to make money with us. The code PEEK, P-E-E-K, will give you a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. I appreciate Sleeper, and make sure that you've got that app ready. Like I said, ready to go on Wednesday during the live show. Thank you all for tuning in, and make sure that you are subscribed. As always, go Gators.